Were you surprised when she told you that she loved you?
I was surprised. Yeah.
How come?
Um, well, my barriers,
Hmm. Yeah,
Sorry.
it's okay. The big finale just aired. So, I mean, how are you feeling going into it? And when you were asking Liz to move in with you, I mean, were you pretty confident with your relationship at that time?
I really was. And I was elated the fact that Liz wanted to move in
Mhm.
because the fact of the matter is, I wanted us to get to know each other more before, I put a ring on her finger. So I really wanted to make sure that we were compatible.
I mean, do you feel at ever that she was 100% scared of commitment, like she said at certain points?
I did rush things obviously in the beginning because I was really, I hadn't been in a relationship in 29 years. So this was all new to me. And I finally met someone that felt I was boyfriend material. So, I was excited, A, just to have a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and B, Liz was so, I mean, we just got along great. We got along great. We had a lot of things in common. We like to go to dinners and hang out, in my hot tub and and great conversation, and
Did you ever feel like when you were rushing things with her, maybe it scared her a little bit, like she wanted to back off, or like not felt pressured in a way to that's not the right word, but just maybe like, I don't know, she felt rushed as well?
yeah, I think probably Liz may have felt, the fact that she had just got out of a horrible relationship. This guy was not a good person at all.
Mhm.
But I figured I'm such a great guy. She won the lottery.
Yeah. I mean, were you 100% in love with her?
I really was, and I still am.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you, in the preview for the tell all, it's clear that some things have gone down since you asked her to move in with you. I mean, what can you tease about that? I mean, she said that she had a month from hell. So what can you kind of tease about what really happened?
We're in a rough spot right now, and we're kind of working through, um, you know, a relationship is hard, and she got out of her last relationship recently. I think she was only single for about 2 weeks before her and I started dating. So I think for Liz, it was a lot too fast.
Were there a lot of red flags once cameras stopped rolling?
Um, Certainly, absolutely. But the best thing I can say is you got to watch the show,
Hmm.
and it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of heartache. It's a lot of heart smiles.
Hmm.
But just to really see and understand our story, you can go on Discovery Plus, and it's a streaming platform now. You can watch all of our content. So if you happen to miss, the first part, some of the earlier episodes, you can go back and watch our whole story.
No, definitely. I mean, it doesn't look like you admit to doing something in the tell all that Molly even looks shocked. I mean, what can you kind of tease about that as well?
Um, I don't, I don't actually remember the. Can you refresh my memory? That was so long ago.
I honestly don't know because it was just the teaser. I haven't seen the tell all, but it looks like you admit to something in the tell all about doing something, maybe to Liz, or something came to light and Molly looks shocked about everything. Everybody kind of looks a little taken back.
I actually don't remember.
Well,
I
couldn't
don't,
have been that bad then,
yeah,
right?
no, it could not have been that bad. But I mean, Liz and I, we're when you fall in love so quickly and have the types of feelings that we had for each other, it was definitely real. It was just, I think our biggest struggle is we went from 0 to 100 like overnight, and it was just too much, too fast.
Hmm. Are you hopeful for the future? Do you still want to make this work?
I definitely do. We have a lot to work on. We talked about getting counseling. We talked about going to church. Yeah, so I'm very optimistic. I want to give this a chance
Mhm.
and see it through.
Do you feel like she's in it as well?
I do. I do. Yeah. I mean, I didn't expect to see her at the tell all. And when she walked across the stage, I mean, I was wonderfully shocked and I'm glad she was there.
So, we do see in the teaser that you say that you did not want her to be there. Were you just kind of surprised that she showed up? Were you just like, I'm not ready to kind of share all my feelings with you at this point?
Yeah. It was definitely too soon, I think, for Liz and I to see each other, because we were in a kind of a downward turn in our relationship, still hopeful to work things out. But I was definitely shocked to see her walk across the stage.
But a good shock.
A good shock. Absolutely.
All right, good. I mean, you said before, would you say that the biggest hurdle in your relationship was too much too soon?
I would say definitely the biggest hurdle in our relationship is we both moved too fast. And, Liz made the first move physically. And I think in a way I kind of made it mean so much more, but we eventually became very compatible, and we were kind of glued, at the hip with each other. And we were in a real, relationship. And with relationships, it's so difficult on both ends, where we tend to put walls up, right? And it happens on both sides. And part of getting to know Liz was, breaking down those barriers that she has put up, and the barriers that I had put up for 29 years.
Right. What was it like when she first told you that she loved you? And did you think in that moment that, like, when you guys were sitting in the restaurant, did you really think that everything was going to start over and you guys were going to kind of start fresh?
Yes, I did. When Liz told me that she loved me, I already knew I was in love with her, but to hear it from her for the first time, really, it really solidified my heart and the feelings that I have for her and her daughter.
Were you surprised when she told you that she loved you?
I was surprised. Yeah.
How come?
Well, my barriers,
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. Yeah. It's hard because you love hard, and, do you think that's maybe, one of your downfalls too, is that, like, you just get so passionate and so kind of caught up in things. You just want to go, go, go. And, you were talking about marriage too. Is that still something that you want?
Absolutely. So for me, and I apologize for getting emotional, but
Fine.
It's about loving yourself,
Yeah.
And it's a hard thing to do. And, but I'm learning through therapy that if you can't love yourself, you can't love other people. So
yeah. And do you love yourself?
I'm learning to.
Good. That's good. A really hard thing, I'm sure, for you to go through this season was introducing Liz to your daughter. And I know, you said, you almost lost your daughter once with Rose and you didn't want to do it again. How nervous were you going into that conversation with Liz and Tiffany?
Very nervous. But one thing in the back of my mind, Christina, that I knew with my daughter this time was I was going to introduce Liz as soon as possible, because I did the opposite with Rose. But again, Liz thought it was too soon. I didn't think it was soon enough. And, but yeah, that was a very awkward situation. Dinner.
Tiffany said that she saw similarities in Rose and Liz. Did you ever see that at all?
And I definitely saw, the similarities that I saw in my daughter and Liz were they're both stubborn, and they're kind of a little bit like they're cocky in a way, which I'm attracted to that actually. But as far as the similarities that Tiffany saw in Rose and Liz were kind of the age. They're both younger than Tiffany, and I think that bothers Tiffany.
Yeah. How would you, because even Tiffany kind of brought up that you would be upset if she was dating somebody that was your age. Do you feel like that? Would you be upset?
I wouldn't.
No.
If Tiffany had met somebody as wonderful as her father, I'm kidding. No, it has a lot to do with, who that person is. And, I am learning I need to, up my dating range. That's pretty clear. Yeah. But no, as long as it was within reason and the guy was respectful to my daughter, and he wasn't, playing games, and he was real, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with Tiffany dating somebody my age, as long as his intentions were good.
Right. I mean, if things like we said, we don't know how things kind of play out with you and Liz, but if they don't work out, I mean, do you want to start dating people that are a little bit older?
Yes. Yeah. So if Liz and I can't, find our place again, then definitely I'm going to look to dating older women, definitely, because, and I don't really, my new focus, or my new mindset is, and I'm getting a lot of this through therapy, is that, I don't care what the age is, as long as she loves me and she cares about me.
Yeah, then that's the most important thing. Definitely. I mean, do you feel like if you go into a new relationship, that you're going to take things a little slower next time too?
I'm definitely going to take things slower. I'm going to ask a lot more questions. I'm going to really, in fairness to them, in fairness to Liz, I should have really, I should have known more about her and, her lifestyle, and I just didn't. And and you find all those things out later, and it's a lot harder that once you're in a relationship and you realize there are things that you don't think are good, and you struggle with, but you're already in a relationship, you have feelings for that person, and so it can make any relationship difficult. So definitely going to slow down.
Yeah. If things don't work out with Liz, are you going to be heartbroken? Is this a heartbreak situation for you?
You know what? It absolutely, I fell hard, and I think Liz fell hard. I think it's going to be, if it doesn't work out, I think it's going to be as hard on Liz as it is on me.
Yeah. Have you heard from Rose at all?
You know what? I have not. I got to FaceTime with her at the Bears Hall, which is on Discovery Plus stream. So I got to be complete with her and just tell her how happy I am with her success, and how proud I am of her being a mom. And that's one thing I can really say about Rose, is that she cared for Prince like no other mom could, even though she didn't have wealth and she didn't have she wasn't even working. Her time with her son was important to her.
Yeah. Do you miss him?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. He's a little character. I miss Freddie, the dad.
Yeah.
Actually,
really.
Him and I. We're at the pig farm. Liz and I are getting, or excuse me, Rose and I are getting ready to go on a trip, and he actually kissed me on the cheek. So, and I told him I want to buy some pigs. I want to invest in your pig farm. So, I hopefully one day want a friendship with Freddie, and maybe we can look at some business opportunities.
Definitely. I mean, is there anything you miss about your relationship with Rose, or does that just feel so far in the past at this point?
It's really in my past. I'm glad that I was able to, through the show, make a difference in her life. She just built a 2-story house. She's doing modeling. She has doing incredibly well on YouTube. So even though it didn't work out between Rose and I, she is much better off without me.
Yeah. Do you think, do you know if she has been keeping up with you and, know anything about your relationship with Liz at all?
You know what? I'm not sure, because I haven't had, I haven't been in communication with Rose. I did post some stuff on Instagram, some memories, of kind of some look backs and takeaways that I had with Rose. And I had an enjoyable time in the Philippines. I enjoyed getting to know her family and getting to know her country, which is such a beautiful country.
Right. No, definitely. I mean,
over 7,000 islands. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
You got a lot of heat for making Rose shave her legs. Did you ask Liz to do anything like that as well?
I did. Actually, I didn't have to, but I asked her to do other things politely, and respectfully. But but Liz had it all together. I mean, she was just a great. She is a great person with a big heart, and unfortunately, she has been in some pretty tough relationships, and with that, you have baggage, and there's there's no way around that. And I tried as hard as I could to kind of break down those barriers, but Liz is human, and no one's perfect, and if it doesn't work out, I'm praying it does, but I'll always have a special place in my heart for Liz and for Rose too.
Yeah.
I mean, look how lucky I've been to meet two amazing women, within a year. I mean, I'm pretty lucky.
Right. I mean, do you think if things don't work out with Liz that you will remain friends?
I'm hoping so. I mean, her restaurant in Contro was my girlfriend before she was. And so I miss going there a lot because it's very distracting. When I show up, cars stop in the middle of the street and people run up to my table and I'm trying to eat and they don't have a mask on and it drives Liz crazy. I definitely want a friendship with Liz if it doesn't work out, and her daughter. I mean, she is a wonderful mom. Riley will always have a special place in my heart. We would have game nights that there's a lot that you didn't see off camera. We would go to Seattle together. I would fly Riley out. I flew Liz and I back to Oklahoma where we could, and we'd rent an Airbnb and be able to spend. I wanted Liz to spend as much time with her daughter because her daughter she lives out of state. So I did everything I could to have Riley in our lives. And Liz and I have even talked about getting a bigger house and setting up a room for Riley. And, we have a lot of big plans that we've talked about. And I just hope, we can work it out and things can be great again.
Would you ever adopt in the future?
I would love to. If it doesn't work out with Liz and I mean, I'm open to, dating somebody that has kids just because, kids are amazing. They teach us so much about what we don't know. And so I would be open to adoption. I did have my vasectomy, but I still have my thingies. They're in a refrigerator up in Los Angeles. So the option is always there if I meet someone, for example, or if Liz and I decide we want to have kids. And I really did that for Liz. I mean, that was actually, Liz's, partly Liz's idea. And my buddy Rich's is like, look, she didn't ever want that to be off the table. And she had said early on that she didn't want kids ever. Well, if I met the right person, I would. And then I did meet the right person. So, I still always want that option on the table, she would tell me.
Definitely. What do you think of Colt and Vanessa's engagement? And do you think they will make it? Because it seems like in the tell-all, you got a little heated with Debbie.
I have a 6-month wager on that. And just my feelings on that is that, he's an interesting character. We didn't get along at all. Big surprise. And his mom almost wanted to jump out of her chair and smack me around. But, I wish anyone success in a relationship, but I just think I don't hold a lot of stock in that on both ends because I have this belief that things always end as they begin. And it started out with both of them cheating on each other. And I just don't think it's a good situation. It's not when you build a house, I'm an architect, when you build a house, you start with a weak foundation and the house is going to fall down. So I wish them luck. I hope they can find happiness for their sake, but I don't know. Let's wait and see.
We'll have to wait and see. If things don't work out with Liz, would you ever date any of the 90-day ladies?
Possibly.
Yes. Any that you could tell us, like maybe Darcy, Fernanda? No, Darcy.
I thought I was smitten with Fernanda. She's a total knockout. But again, she's 24, and that's one thing that I've learned through this whole process is that age is a number and it's important, but it's also a maturity level. And a 24-year-old is not going to want the same guy when she's 28. And a 28-year-old is not going to want the same guy when she's 38. At least that's what I believe. So I want something that's going to be real and permanent. And I think I'm going to need to date someone closer to my age.
What about Danielle?
She is a sweetheart. I love Danielle's probably one of my favorite stars on the show because she's so real.
Sweet.
And I just hope she can learn to love herself, because I think she's surrounded by a lot of people that don't have her interest. The guy that she met seems really, really sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Danielle. I don't think I have chemistry with her, to be honest. And even though I'm attracted to Fernanda, I don't think we have chemistry. And that's important. You know, it's not always about appearance or looks, because that fades. There just has to be, at least I'm learning on my new journey, is that there has to be more than what's on the outside.